Hello and welcome to Are You Not Entertained? I'm Maximus Cardillo, and today's guest is a bi-coastal genre director producer currently based in LA and working in the indie space. Her name is Sophie Aguila. Me and Sophie actually went to high school together, but we didn't have any contact or communication in high school. It wasn't until college that we would actually get connected, where we both found that we were pursuing careers in film. That is what our conversation today centers around, all things film. From production to post-production to pre-production, we kind of cover it all. Here is Sophie and I's conversation. How long have you been living in LA now?
It's been about a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah, because it was September 24. Yeah.
So right out of university, you went right to LA.
Yeah, so graduated in the spring 24 and then worked at a gear rental shop over the summer, like a film
Hmm.
gear lighting and camera equipment shop over the summer. And then moved out in like August, September.
Wow. Was that like culture shock for you or what? From living on the East Coast your whole life?
I feel like over the past year, it kind of has been
Wow.
like I lived out here for a summer in university to do like a work study internship.
Right.
And so that's how I kind of figured out like, okay, I want to make the move. Um, it's been gradual. Like something that I didn't realize, it's little things. Like they are not a sports town at all. Like the Dodgers, yes.
Right.
The Dodgers, yes. But like Philly kind of area
Yeah.
that we're in, like it's like everyone is watching the Super Bowl no matter who is playing.
Right.
Out here, like I barely heard about it.
Really?
And it was out here, you know. It wasn't
Right.
in, SoCal, but uh yeah, just like it's stuff like that, little stuff like that. So just like finding, Eagles bars or like
Mm.
finding a good Philly cheesesteak has been, a thing. Like New York style bagels,
Wow.
has been a
So for
thing.
everybody listening, me and Sophie actually went to high school together in New Jersey. So just outside of Philadelphia, like 15, 20 minutes. And she has now been pursuing her career out in LA, filmmaking with a concentration in directing, or what do you tell people usually when you're telling them what you do?
I tell them directing, and then I say, I know that's the long haul.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that it's not a quick jump to that being what pays the bills for everyone, like or
Mhm.
for the large majority of people.
Right.
So anything in directing and production departments I can tackle. I definitely lean more the director producer route than the writer director route.
Mm.
But yeah, so just anything and everything I could get my hands on, I was doing over the past year. When I first moved out here, I was ADing for a web series, like a YouTube series, and they like just like coincidentally lived a street away from me.
Oh,
So
wow.
I could walk to work, and like I had already found my apartment and then I got the job. So it was a little like serendipitous with that. Uh but yeah, so that was great for a while. And then I was working with Garden State Festival, which you and I both are our high school teacher
Yeah.
with TV and communications works at the Garden State Festival. So had worked with that for a few months, and then I did production coordination for indie feature last summer. And that was great. That was the first feature that I'd had a full role on,
Mm.
like a full-time role and not just a few days. So that was great. That was fun. We were all over kind of the LA, the greater LA area. So we were going up to like Ventura for a few days, and
Oh, wow.
that was great. And then in November, I started a corporate job. So kind of like I was starting saying like not full time in creative right now, but able to pay the bills so that I can, use that to then,
Right.
hopefully,
So
have
when
the
you when you say
stability.
corporate, what do you mean corporate? Like what are you doing?
So I'm working as an assistant in a legal office right now.
Oh,
Um, that surprisingly, law is like a popping industry, I think, in SoCal right
really?
now. Yeah, so there's just been a lot of like assistant law jobs around recently, and I it sparked my interest because I have an aunt who works, like, her career has been as an assistant in a legal office back in Philly.
Hmm.
My partner has worked as like a recruiter at legal offices in SoCal, so definitely was an interesting thing to talk with them about, and like kind of how that would work, and like just being curious about that industry. Um, Again, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Could be a few years, could be a few more years than I think, but either way, it's providing me with the kind of like ability to stay out here,
Right.
like, yeah.
So then that's you bring up a good point to stay out there. Do you feel like you have to be out there to work in the industry, or like what are the pros and the cons kind of living out in LA to any filmmakers or creators who don't currently live out in LA?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It it's interesting because different pockets of the industry are out here than are back east, than are anywhere, nationally, like Texas. Um, I think there's certain roles that it's a lot more common that you don't need to be in LA for. But I think for those, like, especially for like career oriented like goals, like long-term goals, it's useful to be close to one of the production hubs, or I shouldn't say like career, or like creative head, like above the line roles, I think are, and then like leading actor roles or just actor roles. I think
Okay.
it's important to be like within a few hours of New York, within a few hours of LA helps. It's not impossible to do it otherwise, but there's a lot of post-production out of Texas. There's a lot of uh production in Atlanta. So I have a few like G&E friends who live down in Atlanta. But for like directing and like even writing, I think it depends. But like directing slash like producing, or like above the line producing, um, and acting, I think it's useful to be like close to where the corporate centers are, is like I guess the best way I can say it. Just
Hmm.
because of like who, just being in proximity to some people, that it's nice to like be close to that
Now,
kind of thing.
I get what you're putting down. Do you think that that's like the studio director path? Like, do you feel like that is the path, or how do you feel indie film is today? Like, is there a path for indie filmmakers that don't live in LA or in proximity to New York? Do they still have an opportunity equal to like the people who do live in those hubs?
Absolutely. Yeah. Again, like, this is just the route I decided to take, but you don't have to do it by far. It's almost in the sense of like, especially for like directors and actors, I've heard that, and writers, like, there is really no direct path. Like, there's
Right.
common paths. Like for studio writers, like they usually get a development assistant role or get into like a writer's room assistant role, and then they're on the writer's room like table.
Mhm.
And then, if they go the showrunner route, they do that. If they want to stay a staff writer, they pursue that. Um, for directors, like it really depends. Like because indie is so much more reliable now
Right.
that it's kind of just as long as you keep pushing for it and have that break whenever you have it.
Right. I
Um,
feel like it's as long as you keep your nose down and you just do the grind, you
yeah,
keep creating. We live in a world today where with the advent of the internet and social media, as
yeah,
long as you're promoting yourself and you're always creating stuff,
yeah,
it's only a matter of time before something catches on. whether that's,
Yeah.
the first thing you do, the 30th thing you do, the 110th thing you do. It's quite interesting, but I find that a lot of creatives get burnt out because it's like, and I can relate to this myself, and I don't know how you feel, so I'm interested to get your thoughts on this. It's like we upload to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, fill in the blank social media here, you know what I'm saying? And it's like almost like we're shouting into this echo chamber. And
Yeah.
it's like I'm doing everything. I'm using the hashtags. I'm using the buzzwords. I'm clickbaiting my stuff.
Yeah.
I'm doing all of this stuff, but it's like nothing's catching on. Or you do have something go viral, which I have had I've been lucky enough to have like one or two things with the movies and with my YouTube videos that have gone viral. But then it's like it's a one and done. It's hard to sustain the virality on
Yeah.
the internet. Like, so how do you feel about that? Like, do you post a lot about your work, your films and everything? Do you feel this echo chamber that I feel? Because it's tough,
Yeah. You're definitely not. I feel like, yeah, it's the echo chamber is it's dark and we have headphones on, but there's a lot of us in there.
literally.
It exactly. It's I very much agree. It's just like it's putting your nose down like just to the grind the whole time. And I hate hearing this, and it's definitely easier to say than to constantly believe.
Mhm.
But it's the whole thing of like if you don't believe it's gonna happen or that it can happen,
Right.
like it won't. Like you are always your own biggest supporter.
Right.
Like it's amazing to have, support networks. I'm blessed to have a support network. I know you have a lot of people that are, supportive of your work as well right now. Like we have great bases of our communities right now that are, supporting both of us. And I think that's definitely something that's always motivating for me is just like the family and friends who and people I've worked with just across sets for the past few years. Like even if we don't stay in touch constantly, like we know we're always in each other's corner. And like we know we're all headed in the same direction. We just want to have fun and make movies. Like
Yeah.
that's just the goal is to be able to have fun and make movies. Um, it's I definitely get what you're saying with like expanding your audience, and it's almost like in today's age in indie work you have to build a brand around yourself. It's very much like a personality game. It's a personalization of how you market your films in a way that people are going to want to watch the next one and the next one and the next one. Um,
Yeah. I definitely
yeah,
can relate to what you're saying there because I've built my whole um, filmmaking journey on just my personal myself, right? So
yeah,
I've been releasing movies typically of the horror genre since 2018 or 17 to YouTube. But back then, it was every Halloween I would come out with one. And I always had a YouTube channel. Since 2014, I always had a YouTube channel that I would post to, just because I always was into creating. That's what led me to filmmaking, directing, writing, producing. And so I always posted a horror type short around Halloween. So my YouTube channel and the audience that would follow me would expect it every Halloween. And then around 2021, I changed that structure and then I started making one in the spring, one in the fall. So there was always a drop. So there was two movies a year kind of a thing. And then I did that from 22 to 25, and then 25 is when we did Do Not Watch This Film, which you were a part of the post-production side of that, I guess we could say. You helped us with the theater and with and now I'm making feature films, which is a whole other beast in and of itself because these things take a year out of your calendar
yeah,
because I'm writing it, directing it, acting in it, editing it. So I started this new movie, 29 Seconds to Midnight, while I was editing Do Not Watch This Film this past summer. So I remember it was the 4th of July. I sat down and I wrote the first 10 pages of 29 Seconds to Midnight on the 4th of July, sitting by a pool in Wildwood at the beach.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, and we started filming, I want to say 2 weeks before Halloween. So it was like a rapid fire, launched out of a rocket.
Yeah,
But
that was
then
right
it's
after the screening too. Yeah.
yeah,
Or-
yeah, it was
No,
because
awesome. Yeah.
that's my whole thing about the echo chamber. I never want to be in a position where I don't have content or I don't have an idea because you're only as good as the movie you're making right now. So I'm always trying to be making a movie.
Yeah. I definitely agree with the sentiment of always having something on the slate. On a personal end, I took a bit of a you know this. I took a bit of a hiatus from some production stuff just as I was starting this new kind of career path or day job, whatever we want to call it right now, but just needed a bit of time to kind of process that and how it was going to impact my production life and my lifestyle. Um, and now we're so back. Um, so gonna be dropping some updates soon on my end. I want to wrap up some stuff about a festival run for my last short that we just had our LA screening a little bit ago. So that was great. We had it at the Lamla, which is up in North Hollywood. Uh, very historic theater and chain across LA. So that was great. And then really excited. I'm working on an upcoming short. It's like I wouldn't call it sci-fi. It's near future,
Hmm,
futuristic,
cool.
uh, dystopian short. And it's working with a producer that she and I. This is our first collaboration as a producer director duo, and it's been great. We're going into pre-pro right now. It's actually really exciting. We just decided that. About a week ago, we were like, okay, we're formally gonna kind of lay out the timeline for when we want to shoot this. Um, Looking at production in October, and we're getting super excited about it. But so updates on that are to come, and I think that that's part of it. That's part of like the personal branding, right? Is like not only sharing when things are done and like when drops are coming and just cold dropping things, but also and you know this because I see you always posting behind the scenes as well, like sharing the journey
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, like again, whenever our audiences expand to the point that we are able to pursue this in a full-time capacity, which I'm hoping for both of us, and I'm hoping for that soon. Um, Either way, like right now we're making movies because we love to make movies. Like I think I speaking at least for myself, I am excited for the day when I can do it full time, but the reason I love indie directing so much is that you can do it on weekends. You can do it on a shoestring.
Hmm.
Like just doing it for the love of it. And that's what we're sharing right now with not only with the hope of expanding our audiences, but to me it's also, okay, I'm posting pictures of me and my friends
Yeah,
and
literally.
sharing them with my friends and
Hmm.
like, we're blessed to be in an industry where most of the people that we work with, especially on, smaller shoot like sizes where it's more direct kind of delineation of roles and onboarding and that kind of thing, and it's all kind of more skeleton. Um,
No, more skeleton. It's like it's almost I want to call it a shapeshifter because
yeah,
it's like you fulfill anything at any time. It's like I have my boom guy. Okay, can you go grab a light? It's like everybody is at least on my sets, everybody
yeah,
is everything all at once. Like there is no delineation. Like there is no EP, there is no associate producer, there is no, the only thing is I'm the director and, we got to get the shit done. But besides that, it's it's the Wild West out here at a broken house. It really is
Yeah.
the Wild West. I'm curious, how does that work with you guys? Because you said you're in pre-production like starting now, but you're not filming till October. So how does
Yeah.
that usually go for you guys? And like how do you meet your people? Is it through backstage? Is it friends, word of mouth?
So I would say it's a mixture. Because again, with, us being blessed to be friends usually with our coworkers in this industry. Like there is so much reach that we can just do by putting up a story, by asking people to share with people they know who might be looking for a gig. It's even better when you can offer a day rate or, even just a stipend just to like help if production allows. I'm very much a proponent of I moving forward when I can help it. I really prioritize making it worth the cruise while. If it's not available in the budget, I'm going to make sure that I'm not taking up all their time, or I'm making sure that I'm not just getting pizza for lunch, or I'm making sure that I'm not doing the stereotypical indie things of like burning out the crew for nothing and like making it about me rather than it's a group thing and we're all just there to have fun, you
Mhm.
know? Um, so anyway, that all being said though, my priority always is getting that budget so that we can we can make sure that it's making people it's worth their while monetarily.
Yeah,
Um
budget's always the thing, isn't it? Like
it's always the thing.
making sure you have enough money for food for the crew, making sure you have enough money for post marketing,
Yeah.
production itself. The budget of Do Not Watch This Film was quite interesting because we wanted to get ourselves in a theater, right? And that's a
Yeah.
that was a whole thing that I don't think we ever got to actually talk about in a public setting like this since it happened back in
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
October. October 29th, I think that was to be exact, right before Halloween. We tried to get it on Halloween, I think, or the day before Halloween, but the
I think
theater
there
was
was
like, yeah,
Yeah, there
it,
was like something the day before Halloween, and we didn't
mhm,
want to do it on Halloween if
yeah,
people had other
plans.
plans that
Yeah,
would prevent them from arriving. Plus, I feel that, wait, so what, it was the 29th, right?
I'm pretty sure it was the 29th.
Flash forward 29 seconds to midnight. We can
Oh,
see intentional, is what I'm saying.
wow, I didn't even see that coming. Dude, I'm
Um,
such a believer that everything happens for a reason and like
Same.
synchronicities, like, oh, it gave me chills right there. You just said that. No, oh my God. Wow. That was not the reason, but that's awesome that
Yeah,
that's actually a
we'll say
tie-in.
it is. We'll say it is.
Right. So our my first feature film, Do Not Watch This Film, premiered in an AMC movie theater October 29th, 2025. Sophie was a part of the team that got us into the theater, and we worked so hard to get people to show up and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, we filled out the entire theater. It was about 125 people, filled every seat. We had people standing in the back watching the movie. It was a crazy experience, Sophie. I wish you could have been there.
Oh my gosh. I really wish that I could have been there. I was looking at all of the pictures and I was just like I was loving what I was seeing. It was just like it was just like the community that you've worked so hard to build coming to life in person. Again, I know you've hosted screenings previously like like in
In my
like
house.
personal venue. Yeah,
Yeah,
in your house.
in my
Um
my
and
house,
they
my
were
living room.
packed. Yeah.
It was like
So
throwing a whole house party with like 60 to 70 people, but moving
yeah.
into a theater was a total juxtaposition
It was, yeah, and it was, a little bit bigger head count, I think, and we
by yeah, double
fully sold it
almost.
out.
Yeah.
Um, we fully
Yeah.
filled it up. Um, that was beautiful to see to me because it's just like again, okay, leveling up to feature. Okay, let's level up. How we're gonna get this to
Hmm.
the community and make it worth their while. Uh, on just a screening end and just like a fulfillment end of it.
But
Um,
that whole time, remember we were trying to find other venues? It wasn't
yeah,
easy. It was like a whole thing through the weeds. And I remember meeting with you weekly over the summer, talking about like what venue we could run, how we were going to get merch available. And then the DCP was a whole other thing that had its trials and its tribulations with the surround mix and with everything. So we had a DCP made in LA, and then it was mailed to me in Jersey, and then I had to deliver it to the theater, and then the theater had it for like a week or two, getting it ready or testing it before the
yeah, like getting it
premiere.
into their system. Yeah, I always recommend this DCP creator. I had asked them to do my last short and was really helpful to have a because again in indie work like we're working on what we can,
Yeah.
but odds are we don't on an odd weekend or on an odd weekday have access or time for um
Hmm.
going to a surround sound studio, like post-production audio studio, um, employing post-production studio workers to mix it, sitting in a Dolby, Atmos audio
Hmm.
room and working on it with them. So the fact that this DCP creator, it's Film Visionary, you like offers different things of okay, you want us to burn in subtitles, we can do that. Do you want us to just kind of do like a light audio mix and work through that? We can offer you an estimate on that. Any kind of graphic or color for like theatrical, like all of this like to optimize for theatrical, like on the knowledge that a lot of indie creators come to them and probably don't have resources to do a full theatrical mix at home.
I didn't know
Like
she did color. She does color?
yeah, I
Really?
think so. I think that's one of the checkboxes. I know it's like there's like a visual slash
Oh,
graphics selection on the list. I don't think it's like full color. Like I don't think I
right.
mean, they probably have recommendations, or they probably could, um, or find a colorist to recommend. But I think it's more like uh, not calibration, but like the final touch to make it like okay, you color corrected it, but is it like optimized for a theatrical
Yeah,
screening? Like, is anything clipping that kind of thing?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was awesome. She got back to us pretty damn quick, and the thing got mailed pretty damn quick. That
yeah,
whole experience was
yeah,
crazy
great.
for me. I mean, to have my first feature go out in an AMC theater was so unexpected. It was a lot because I didn't know what to expect. Like I didn't get to like play it out. Like I didn't get to go to the theater beforehand and like I barely talked to the managers of the AMC. They were just like, "Yeah, you're gonna have this theater on this day. Show up. Blah, blah, blah. We're gonna play the movie at this time." Like it wasn't at all like scheduled or planned out. It was very Wild West, as I keep mentioning. So I
Yeah, yeah,
show up to the theater and I'm like, hey, like my movie's the one playing in theater six. And they're like, oh, you're the indie feature that's playing here. Okay, cool, cool, cool.
yeah,
And they're like, um, do you want to sit at the front and check people in? So like the ticket booth,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
I had to put some of my crew in the ticket booth and they were then working at the AMC basically. And so
That's
pe
awesome.
people were showing up asking to see whatever the top movie was this past October. It's slipping my mind right now. But they were like showing up and like, oh, can I have tickets for this? They're like, no, we're here for like the indie feature that's like down
You
down
want
the
to see this
hall.
instead?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We would have upsold it if we could, but the seats were all sold out.
right.
It was
Yeah,
crazy. People were kind of getting upset because we had no seats for them. Like some people brought plus ones of plus ones, and then I wouldn't let their plus ones in because they didn't sign them in. It was like
yeah,
a logistical mess. Some people had to stand, some people showed up a little bit late. Oh, it was something. It was quite the experience for my first feature. But
yeah,
I learned a lot, took a lot of notes. So then when we return to that theater this October, I will be better prepared. we might even have to boost up to the next theater up. But then that's the
Yeah.
whole thing, right? Do we get a bigger theater and have some seats that are empty, or do we just go with the smaller one so it feels jam-packed?
It's to me, it's almost like if it's within our budget to upgrade, let's do it. We clearly oversold the last one.
Yeah.
Let's bump it up. Um, it's then okay, let's start planning soon. And I'm very excited to start this discussion kind of
Mm.
like on the sidebar of this. Like, how are we going to start promoting now to other local spots? Sending up invites up to Central and North Jersey, down the shore, Philly, New York, like how can we start to Delaware, like
Hmm.
start to get some word out in those communities, maybe universities, maybe um if that local film centers um and just kind of put it in the air that like, hey, coming to a
Yeah.
theater near you in South
Yeah.
Jersey. Um,
Yeah,
get ready.
I think a lot of indie creators who might be listening to this should hear that. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. And I
Yes.
know majority of the time that I reach out to people, it's answered with nothing or not the answer you want. But if you don't keep trying and trying and trying, you won't make those connections that maybe you would have if you tried. So
Yeah.
I guess, if you
It's
can reach out and be nice to everybody because you don't know who you're going to wind up working for down the road.
yeah. The worst thing, again, the very worst thing that can happen is someone says no. I feel like our generation of filmmakers has such an advantage in this scenario because we live in such an age where people are very afraid to make a phone call, like of
Yeah.
all ages.
Yeah.
Like it's just phone calls are not as common anymore. Um, sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's not. To me, like it reflects like very well to take that initiative, like you're saying, like to it's not illegal to call them. It's not illegal to call the film center near you, the indie, film group on Instagram that is located a town over to DM them and see if
Mhm.
they want to come. Like they're not gonna like there's nothing wrong that you're doing. Yeah, the worst they could do is be like, I don't want to come or just
Yeah.
not respond. And either way, like at least you took the action and you won't regret doing that.
There
Um,
is a lot of that. There is a
yeah,
lot of like reaching out and not getting a response. I almost
yeah,
feel like there's a little
that's
bit of
part
a
of it.
there's a little bit of a tribalism, I feel like. Little bit of a tribalism within subsets and groups like indie companies, at least from my experience. Maybe that's just because we're I don't know. Do you experience
Especially
any of that?
horror, I feel
Yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, there's so many
Hmm.
specific, like director specific cult followings or
Hmm.
franchise specific cult followings, but also like I think it's almost because like horror is such a
Niche kind of
genre
a
that it's such a niche genre that is at its core, it is based around indie principles a lot of times.
yeah,
And, in that sense, doesn't always get the recognition and the support on the mainstream
yeah.
because it's such a selective style of filmmaking. I think it's becoming more mainstream now, which is great. Like we're seeing, huge success. Sinners, which you could consider, one of many genres,
Hmm.
it being a horror. Um, it, just broke Oscar nom records.
Great
Um,
movie, great movie.
oh my God, I
Sidebar, did you
watched
love
it
it?
twice this week. Oh my God, that is that is a
Great movie.
masterclass.
So I
That is
guess
a
that's a good transition as we start to wind down here. I
yeah,
would like to ask you some lightning quick questions.
yeah.
I know you mentioned Sinners you watched twice this weekend. It's a masterclass, but what is your favorite movie? I never got to ask you this question.
Oh, that's hard. I feel like my
Top
letterbox
top three
public.
then. Give me like a top.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to give a one answer.
Yeah. I'm a fan of anything larger than life. Anything that, explores universal themes and uh communicates themes of connection and humanity, but also provides an escape for viewers. So usually like historical, fantasy, sci-fi, horror, like love leaning into genre pieces. Top three, recently. I rewatched Pride and Prejudice a lot last year. I was uh, participating in a Jane Austen Society film contest, and luckily we made finalists. We didn't place, but we got in front of the judges, and that was kind of just the goal was to just make something to honor Jane Austen. It's her 250th birthday last year. So Pride and Prejudice has been a recent one that I've loved rewatching. Um, La La Land. I that
Mhm.
kind of circles back to what we were talking about at the beginning about like studio.
Right,
Like I, it is not necessary by far to be in New York or LA to be a director.
right.
For me, I enjoy the proximity to studios because I think in an ideal world, I would love to explore studio directing and studio work. But right now my work is in indie and I think if I do, graduate to studio director, I will always be bringing my crew and my indie,
Mhm.
background and the structure that that's brought me.
Yeah,
Um, and I just, yeah, I like the depiction of the hustle in La La Land. And I think whether you're in LA or across the country or across the world, I think you can relate to that if you're creative.
yeah.
Um,
So you're third.
my third. That's hard. I think
Lightning,
every
that's why it's a lightning
I
round, because it's
know, I
just
know.
what comes to your head right now.
I think everything everywhere. Also,
Everything ever. Oh, wow.
it's a masterclass in that bringing indie background to studio work because they like that whole project was edited. This was a big thing that was, kind of going around at the time it came out, edited in Premiere when the studio standard is Avid.
Wow.
Um, to the point where you need like a certification usually as an
Wow.
editor to do a feature in Avid for a studio. So the fact that they did that all in Premiere and it's
That's,
so groundbreaking editorially, like,
yeah.
oh, anyway, I could talk about movies forever.
Favorite director, rapid fire. Who comes to
Oh
mind?
gosh, Spielberg. I'm a
Spielberg
I
classic.
Yeah, I love the classics. Yeah.
What's your favorite movie that you've been a part of creating, whether it's your own or one that you were just a part of working on?
Oh, that's hard.
Rapid fire.
I know. I got to plug the one that we're wrapping up our domestic festival run now, looking at international, but my thesis short Meet Me Under the Bleachers, that was just really fulfilling for me. Wrote, directed, and produced that, and that was just uh kind of my first big dive into fantasy as well. So that was great. That was really fulfilling. That was with, dream team of friends and colleagues and actors and uh it's what I want to do full time.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that was
Well,
great.
this was a really good conversation, Sophie. Next time we got to have you on a little bit longer. We got to talk about our writing processes and our directing styles and how they clash or how they coincide with each other. There's so much to be said, a lot left on the table, but I want to thank you for joining me today. This was fun.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. I am really excited for what the next year brings on my end directorially. I'm really excited for what the next year brings for Broken House
Yeah,
and how, I can be a part of that and keep it going and keep pushing
yeah.
29 seconds and
29 seconds, baby.
yeah, super excited. Yeah, we'll revisit. We'll circle back. We'll revisit when we're closer to maybe October and
Yeah, yeah,
update you guys with with some info on where to watch.
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
guess we're gonna leave it there. Thanks, everybody.